Like the masses, I was in awe when I first laid eyes on all the things you are.
I know that you and Daniel and Chaka and some other people met with Fred Hampton Jr. and with his mother, who's in the film, who you play in the film, in Chicago, and talked about why you wanted to make the movie. What was that meeting like? And as far as you know, what's been their reception to the finished product?
We were sitting in the house that Chairman Fred grew up in, and that was surreal because I was looking around and having, heard his name, knew some about him, but I had read the book by then, like the assassination of Fred Hampton, and so to see that, like, this was actually happening, I was about to talk to his wife, I was about to talk to his son, was a surreal moment. And then just going around the table and saying why we all wanted to do it, and to hear the level of care that every single person had, not just Daniel and I as artists, and Shaka as artists, but even Charles King as a producer, Ryan Coogler as a producer. Everybody leaned in towards the family. So that was really profound. And then Mama Akua, who was formerly known as Deborah Johnson, she pulled Daniel and I to the side, and she had her own bit of questions for us. And I don't know. I feel we're so blessed, and the reception is, like anything, there's gonna be things where they will push and pull, but that's human nature, and it's not a exact factual account for every moment. It just wouldn't be possible. So for the most part, they were happy, and Mama Kua said that Daniel and I made her remember and made her miss that love.
It has to be such an odd experience to have a version of your life on screen. Do you know what I mean? And a version of a life that happened a long time ago, but that is so famous.
Yeah, and probably so present. I can't even imagine, how present it is, because they still live that. They're still in Chicago on the grounds fighting for the people. They have, he's Chairman Fred Jr. is the chairman of the Black Panther Party Cubs, and they still have the police hounding them. They're still very much in the fight, so it doesn't, the way we can step away from this thing is not how they can.
Your character reads a poem at one point during the movie that I believe you actually wrote, like, in your character's voice.
Yeah.
How did you get into that place in terms of, like, what it would mean for her to bring a child into the world?
The beautiful part about this particular role was how everything was kind of from intuition and innate. Like I read the assassination of Chairman Fred before that, but going into it from the top was like all heart. I asked Shaka if I could have the journal, and so I journaled every day, as her. I looked at moments where, Chairman Fred Hampton has dimples. Does Daniel have dimples? How does he take up space? Oh, I named the dimples. What songs does she listen to? A lot of Nina Simone. Do What You Gotta Do is like a theme song for them. I really took that avenue. She's a writer, she's a poet. So who are the poets that she's listening to? Langston Hughes. Like, I really allowed myself to go there and journal and really come out from that youthful place. Right before that she walks into the meeting where she first sees Chairman Fred, I journaled about that, and I said, Shaka and I had decided she went to school for journalism, and I felt that she was looking for purpose, and she was questioning why some people are born knowing their purpose while other people don't, and how is that fair? So she was looking for a purpose, and she hoped that hearing Chairman Fred talk today would make her feel like she had purpose, and she gained that, and in terms of the movie.
You get to go out there, talk about dying a revolutionary death, because you don't have another person growing inside your body.